This guy has SSD wings, and I thought I was cool.
Hey smokers, Rock1 here, and today we're going to continue the glossy screen adventures of installing SSDs into laptops. Today we're going to be setting up a 2-drive RAID 0 on the Gateway FX something or other. And of course, we're going to be doing it with SSDs to have the fastest performance possible. However, to begin with, this is a 2008 gaming laptop. This is actually my daily driver main computer for several years. It's what really got me into modern PC gaming. And I remember some of the first games I played on it were, Left 4 Dead, which was a new game at the time. But we're going to essentially make this faster than it's ever been by installing 2 SSDs in it. The Silicon Power SSD from the PowerMac G5 video that I didn't use, and this Mushkin one that I got from Newegg. So we'll go ahead and take a look at what's going on this computer right now. So as you can see, we already have 2 drives in here, a Hitachi and a Western Digital, both mechanical drives that I had in the computer. Now, some of you have heavily requested a Hackintosh video. Well, here it is. Here's that video now. And here we are. It's macOS 10.6.3. And I will tell you, setting this up, and I was just using IATKOS, which is sort of a pre-built, pre-ready to go Hackintosh ISO, basically. So it's like the easiest thing to ever install. And I did it, and it was a pain in the ass. Holy crap, I just barely got this thing working. And to be honest, I don't really trust it, especially since it's actually been installed onto a failing hard drive. Yeah, that happened. So, will this video be a Hackintosh video? I guess it could be. I could try and install whatever the hell that thing was, IATKOS, on the RAID I'm about to do. I was planning on installing Windows 7, but I suppose I could put it on the RAID, but then it would make a lot of friggin' problems, potentially. Oh my god. So here's just some information of what's going on here. He thinks it's a MacBook Pro 4.1. There's a Core 2 Duo, of course. Those are the main specs. Serial number is some serial number. For some reason it thinks that, my camera thinks that this was a face. I don't know why. It does detect that I have the GeForce 9800. So that's cool. It's got the max 4 gigs of RAM. That's it. So, first we're going to try and install Windows 7 onto it. Because IATKOS is probably going to hate me forever. But then probably one of the other problems is that the reason why it didn't work is because the drive is failing that I was installing it onto. It has several irrecoverable, unfixable sectors or whatever, and now the dock is not showing up for some reason. Oh, there it is. The main reason I wanted to install Hackintosh onto this was so that I could use Logic Express to work on music while I was on the go. And I didn't use it that much. And this is just something that I made that I never released because I used this for about 15 minutes. And then I was kind of scared to actually put any work into it because I really didn't trust the setup because I thought it was just not going to boot again. Oh yeah, that's right. The speakers don't work. So you wouldn't be able to hear anything there anyway. And apparently you can set it to speaker output, but then I also have to change the audio setting in... Oh, shit. Well, that sounds like crap. And for whatever reason, Alt is bound to Command, which makes sense because they share the same position on a Mac keyboard. So yeah, that's about it. That's IATKOS. We got a little bit off track here, just because that's what's installed on this computer. I haven't actually showed this on the channel before. This is, this is sort of still my main Windows laptop because I just have not gotten a new one at any point. So I'm gonna have to install frickin' Hackintosh on the RAID, aren't I? It's gonna frickin' happen, isn't it? God damn it. Okay, I'll do it. So let's go ahead and shut this down. Did I also mention that it's a pain in the ass to install Logic Express? Alright, so let's go and flip this over here, and we have our drive bays here. One of them has Windows 7 installed on them. The other one has Mac OS X installed on it. Shit. So the reason why Hackintosh is ass is because there's all these things called kexts, which are, I guess, like drivers on Mac. What the fuck? And basically, they're kind of cause a lot of problems, and I had a lot of issues. I don't even know how I actually got it working now. And I just remember I was fiddling with it, and it wouldn't boot, and sometimes it would boot. It wouldn't boot, and sometimes it would boot. It wouldn't boot, sometimes it would boot. And I wouldn't make any changes or anything whatsoever. It just sometimes would work and sometimes wouldn't. Again, that probably could be related to that I installed it on a failing drive, and its checksums or HFS wasn't lining up or whatever. So this run right here is the failing drive. This is the Mac OS X drive. Yeah, so set that aside. We'll probably have to take this little bracket thing off. This is probably my least favorite thing about laptop stuff, is that they have these stupid hard disk brackets that always are annoying. But they keep your stuff secure in there, so whatever. Take that out of the bracket. That's that right there. Next we have the hard disk that the computer came with. And again, the computer didn't come with 2 hard drives. It just came with this and an extra bracket for another one if you wanted to put one in there. So that's kind of convenient. And for those of you who didn't watch to the end of the iPod video, I did not in fact fry my 128 gig SSD or SD card. It's fine. It works. So there's that. Okay, that took way longer than I wanted it to. So let's take our unnecessary OpenX again and open another SSD. Now, I don't know if it's just me, but I kind of have a problem with SSDs that are packaged like this. I mean, you're making it look like an action figure rather than a piece of computer hardware, which is what it is. It's just, I don't know, that's just me. No, I don't even need to use that. I can just pop this open here. Pop. Pop. And that's it. There's nothing else. There's no anti-static bags, nothing. That's just it. And there is your drive. Now this drive feels like it has a lot more weight to it. Again, this is a 120 gigabyte one than the Silicon Power one does. Let's feel that. I wish I had a little scale here so I could show you. Okay, this is definitely lighter than this. But same exact amount of data. So which will be drive number 1, drive number 2, doesn't really matter because they're going to both be drive number 1. So now we have to put them back in the brackets. Yes! That's just lovely. How do they go in here again? I think it's like that. You know what's worse than unscrewing the brackets? Screwing the brackets back on. Okay, one down. See if we'll successfully plug in there. Oh my god. Jeez. Oh, that went in easier than the other one. Number 2. Let's see. This is our Mushkin. I have not used a Mushkin drive before. I've had sort of a mixed opinion of them. First guy I met that talked about Mushkin drives that they were prone to failure, and I've also heard that they're just fine. There's nothing wrong with them. But what I have heard pretty much all across the board is King spec kind of sucks in terms of their SSDs, and the problem with that is that I have an SSD for the Windows 98 machine is a King spec, an IDE one, and so that, I don't know if that's going to be a problem, but I'll just got to make sure I back that up. And then of course the SSD for the iPod is King spec as well. But neither of them appear to be failed at this point in time, but I have heard some bad stories. But, you know, I wouldn't let that, if you're planning on buying either a Mushkin or a King spec, just do your research. Don't just take it from me, because I'm forming my opinion based on like 1 or 2 reports, which by far do not represent the majority, as far as I know. So, there we go. We got both drives in there, and I'm just going to pray. Oh, fuck. I'm going to pray that they're all connected in there all right. And currently, we now have a solid-state laptop. So one reason to not install Windows 7 on this computer with RAID 0 is because I've had problems installing Windows on a RAID before. And I had to do something that I forgot, and I'll probably have to go back and watch my other RAID video to figure out just what the hell I did. So since I don't want to do that, I'll just install macOS 10 instead, I think. But before we can install everything, we need to get the RAID set up. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so here are our boot devices. We of course have our, actually have a Blu Ray drive in this. We have our Silicon Power SSD and the Mushkin one right there. So 2 and 5, okay, that's odd. So obviously there's nothing on either of these, so they cannot boot. So let's go into the setup. As you can see, this is an old ass freaking setup. We go into advanced, and when 2 SATA drives are connected, there's a third option that gets added to this list, which is RAID. And so when I enable that, get ready to hit the right key combination here, Control I, and we have our RAID setup. So luckily though, even though they are mismatching brands, they appear to be the exact same size. 111.7 gigs. It shows the serial numbers of the drives, the drive models, so we need to create a RAID volume. This is the first time I've ever seen this screen on this computer. I didn't even know this screen could even be seen on this computer. Reset this to non-RAID, recovery volume options. So create RAID volume, I guess we'll call it weed. RAID level, of course we want a RAID. We have RAID 0 stripe, RAID 1 mirror, recovery. I guess if you want to create a drive that can, so we only have 4 options. And if I go to RAID 0 stripe, it doubles the size of our drive. Strip size, whoa, no, back, bad. Okay, let's try it again. Let's call it marijuana. Stripe. So the stripe size, the following are typical values: RAID 0, 128 kilobyte. When I set the stripe size for the RAID in the other video, I got a lot of feedback that was saying that I picked the wrong one. And to be completely honest, I don't remember what the proper RAID size is. So I'm going to get some consulting and be right back. So I went and looked at a bunch of graphs, and hell, I'll leave the link in the description for the graphs I was looking at. And it looks like across the board, for the most part, there's not too much difference in the whatever strip size you use, from 4 to 128K. It all looked okay, and regardless of what you do, you're going to be getting around 1,000 megabytes a second read, which is pretty substantial. That's like a gigabyte a second, which is kind of ridiculous. So let's just go with 128 since that's already what's there. Again, if I need to, I can change it later in another installation of some other weird crap I'm gonna do. But wait, throw on the brakes. 128K, as I just checked, is the exact stripe size I used in the last RAID video. And since it's pretty well known that I know jack shit about RAID, we should probably at least try to learn from our mistakes. However, it doesn't really matter too much because we have SSDs, we don't have mechanical drives. But what I've managed to learn, at least partially, over the past 15 minutes, is that if you have a strip size of 128K, let's see if I get this right, that sort of becomes your minimum file size. So if you have a lot of small files, you waste a lot of space because it can't actually store an individual file, I think, in any amount of space smaller than 128K. So then you think, oh, well, we have our operating system with a bunch of small files, let's just make it 8, right? Ah, shit. Can we go to 8? We can go to 4. So 4, if there's a lot of small files, that theoretically could, you know, boost our performance. It really doesn't matter, but this is such an undoable step throughout this process that I'd like to have it done right the first time. So, fuck. There's some dude in the comments in the last RAID video who's basically saying that 32 or 64K is probably the sweet spot of RAID, and everything else doesn't frickin' matter. So, well, it doesn't. Well, it doesn't. Not that it doesn't matter. It's just that. Okay, I like 64 as a number. It's half of 128. Nintendo 64 is the only game console I have. Crap. We'll do it. It's probably going to be fine. I had a gut feeling on 64K. We'll just do it. Capacity. Entering lower capacity allows you to create a second volume on these discs. That just does not sound like a good idea. So let's create the volume. All data on selected disk will be lost. Absolutely. Okay, so we have marijuana, RAID 0 stripe. Strip is 64K. There's the size. It is bootable. So the next thing we need is our IATKOS disk. Here it is, Hackintosh IATKOS 3 version 2 2010 Snow Leopard. It says working awesome. 4x speed, probably because it had problems reading it or something. I don't know. And for those of you who are anti-piracy, here's my copy of Snow Leopard, which is a frickin' family pack, which is totally unnecessary since there's no product keys involved with Mac software. You could just willy-nilly install your Snow Leopard on whatever you want, but hell, I have a frickin' family pack, so I think that should offset the fact that I'm using this. Okay, alright. I think we can go ahead and exit since it has been created. Yes. I pressed a key other than Y. Yes. So now it's going to boot to nothing, but it's going to first show that, which is operating system not found. Put this in. Let's go ahead and Control-Delete it. There's our RAID. We're now reading the drive. Hey! I'm a weird looking dude up here. Press any key to start up from, or press F key to enter startup options. Let's just start now. Hope it doesn't kernel panic. Looking good so far. So for whatever reason, the Apple logo is like this weird stylized version of the Apple logo that Apple was messing around with, I want to say anywhere from 2008 to 2009 with that little strip thing, and they never used it as a boot up symbol. I don't know why that's there in IATKOS. Maybe that's their staple? I don't know. It looks kind of icky. I don't really like how it looks. I like just the plain Apple logo, the gray one. It's the one they're still using. Sometimes it's a white one if you have a newer Mac. Sometimes it'll throw on a black background. This is going to be very slow because this DVD has been written with half the possible speed, 4x. That's why it's making all those weird noises. It's going to read it a lot slower because it was having a lot of problems reading my discs. Sometimes it would not start up right, and so yeah, this could take a while. Holy shit. Did you guys hear that? So the most comedic thing right now just happened, right? My camera's running off battery power. Its battery kind of sucks because it's so old. I was waiting for macOS 10 to start up, and I was away from the computer, and so I look back over and see, oh, it started up. And I come up to the camera, and the second I touch the camera, it turns off because it's been sitting on standby for too long. It wasn't that funny, but it's just annoying. So as you can see, this has been modified. It has i8KOS, English as the main language. Oh, yes, this is the same one because it's Snow Leopard 1063. So here, I'm going to say a little thing. If you think about it, when did Snow Leopard come out? 2009. So I guess you could say since this was a 2009 operating system, and I really got into the hardcore usage of this computer in 2009, it's a 2008 computer, that you could say this is the period correct operating system to use with this hardware. Or I'm just making up an excuse so that I don't have to bother with downloading another i8KOS and Hackintoshing El Capitan. I really don't want to do that right now, so we're doing this instead. So luckily this is easy as balls, and you don't actually have to do any work at all. You just oh shit. You just click continue as you normally would. Oh, here's the Oscar goes to Apple OS 1086. Second version, blah 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 blah. Thanks to some people. Ah, hell. So let's go to Disk Utility and see if it can see the RAID. Holy balls, it can't. So it detects them individually, but not as one complete drive. Why is that? Because there's no RAID driver installed! Yes, that's right. You need to have a RAID driver for it to work. There's the RAID button over here. I guess we could do a software RAID of both of the drives. That'd kind of be ass. Oh shit, there's one way we can do it. Well, there you go. Another RAID. And we're done. Now what sort of heinous assholery is that going to create? I don't know, because we already have a striped RAID set up. So the RAID driver is saying, or the RAID controller is saying there's only one volume. Oh, but you can't find it because you don't have the driver to find it. Ah, crap. So my whole speech about stripe sizes doesn't matter at all. Here's comment number 2. I don't know if this is going to work either way, so why don't we just do create a RAID here. Oh wait, maybe we can do, oh wow, the RAID block size, I can select it. Okay, let's make it 64K. This is not going to end well. Whew, this is going to be nasty. Oh, jeez. Okay, let's create it. Oh no, this is going to be bad. I've never created a RAID in Disk Utility before. Waiting for new RAID to spin up? RAID slice for, oh, good lord, look at this mess. So we have our RAID, which is an icon, which is 2 disks stacked on top of each other. or 3 discs stacked on top of each other. It's right there. Oh my god, it's actually working. Raid slice, and there's our volume marijuana Mac. Well, this is not how I intended to do this, but fuck it. We're gonna quit disk utility. And if you can see the... Oh my god! Don't mind if I do! Software raid, baby! Not what I hadn't planned, but let's try it anyway. So now we're going to wait on a Snow Leopard installation like we always do. It'll take some time. It says 18 minutes, but it's not actually going to take 18 minutes. It's going to be more like 40. But who cares? It might even be less or more than that, because this is... It's a 4X DVD, so... So it was taking a while, so I went off to go do other things, and I come back to doing this, and what I think happened is that the installation completed and automatically restarted the computer, and the computer automatically booted the CD again. And so now we're going right back into the setup, and when this finishes, I'm assuming we will be at the setup. At that point, I will have to remove the CD and try to boot off the RAID if that's even frickin' possible, which it probably isn't. Okay, so I let that load for a while, and then it went to a gray screen and loaded some more, and then the computer shut off again. Well, let's try to turn it back on and remove the CD so that it will try and boot off of the internal drive. Really should come as no surprise. Now, as far as I know about Mac RAIDs, is that if you set up a RAID with HFS Plus, you have a RAID of HFS Plus, and it doesn't matter what files are on it, unless the computer knows how to put that RAID together, and then read it. There's nothing that will work. You need to have some sort of intermediary drive to load up something, a bootloader, so that it can boot the operating system. Currently, we don't have that. But what we do have is the IATKOS disk, which will serve as our bootloader to see if it will actually boot up the system. Right now, it's going to try and boot the RAID. No, it's not. Press F8 to enter startup options. So let's do that. So now we have our sort of EFI boot kind of thing. And now we can actually see that there are the 2 SSDs here, but it doesn't know that it's a RAID. It's just 2. We got Marijuana Mac 2 and Marijuana Mac 1. I guess we'll do Marijuana Mac 1. This should be quick. Should be a lot faster than this. I mean, I can understand first time setup and all, but I mean, the drive's spinning up. I'm assuming it's using it. Not a lot of disk access. I'm not seeing any activity light for the drives in question.
You are an idiot.
Holy shit, it's working! Why did I stop recording? Holy shit! What? Okay, alright, let's take a breather here for... What? Well, that was the slowest RAID 0 SSD shit I've ever seen. So we have a problem. This appears to work, and even has the IATKOS little logo thing there. We've actually booted the system. It seems to be running at the native resolution now. Okay, we'll keep going. Keyboard works. So I guess it's working. It's not booted. You can see that. Oh, you can't really see it, but that's the hard disk activity light. That's not the, or that's not the CD drive. That's the mechanical drive light. It's just going like crazy. You can see up in the corner here. This is our install disk. And it has install. Alt is still command. So we sort of have a successful install here. This is probably the easiest install I've ever done. of this. So let's go ahead and eject that. Command E. And there we are. So you need some sort of bootloader. In this case, the bootloader is on here. Where's our bootloader going to reside now? Well, I probably should have thought of that earlier. If this has some method to install a bootloader, I suppose I could. I don't know really how to do that. I'd have to resize the RAID. Remember earlier it says you can resize the RAID to make another volume? Yeah, that probably would have helped. So I would need yet a third drive to load up a bootloader to load up this. So I would have to always carry around with me a USB flash drive in order to get this thing up and running so I could select the RAID to boot it. But it is technically rated because if we go here, let's go to Finder Preferences. And make it so that hard disks, and there's Marijuana Mac in the corner. Let's take a look at the About This Mac. Looks pretty much identical to what we were dealing with before. No. Still think it's a MacBook Pro. Yada yada yada. So let's take a look at, there should be something in here about hardware RAID. Doesn't have any hardware RAID devices, so that means we have not hardware RAID. Here we are. Something's happening, RAID-wise. In fact, even the Blu Ray drive is listed under RAID. Perhaps since I've switched the SATA mode over from AHCI to RAID, it's now showing up as a RAID controller because it's turned on. Is the RAID controller actually doing anything, or is this all software? Now I have no fucking idea. I really don't know, because now it's just, I mean, so there, that's our, right there, that's our Silicon Power. That's our Mushkin. They both are running GPT. Just what else? I don't know. Let's take a look at disk utility. I mean, I guess it comes up fast. I don't have too much to say about it. Marijuana Mac. There it is. So, I mean, we did it. I mean, technically, we did it. Let's take a look at the RAID stuff here. I mean, it says it's working. Striped RAID set. It's got 2 RAID slices. If we want to take a look at the capacity of the drive of Marijuana Mac. There it is. It's showing that it has 250 gigs available. So what we need to do now is we need to test to see if we can do some sort of speed benchmark to confirm that in fact we do have at least some sort of RAID performance going on. Everything seems to be performing okay. Nothing's lagging. I haven't seen the spinning ball once. Looks like it's okay. You could probably go into applications and just launch everything. Command all, Command open. Holy fucking shit, that was awesome. Oh my god, look at this. Oh, and I started front row too. Okay. Okay, let's do that again, but without front row and dashboard. Doesn't detect our camera. Let's quit out everything. A little bit of lag there, but look how fast it quit out everything. Let's agree to the iTunes thing so it can get in. And so let's do everything. Let's try it again. But this time let's do everything in the applications folder except for front row, dashboard, and now mail. Mail and time machine. And we don't want utilities. Alright, let's launch it all at once. Holy balls. That's pretty snappy. I think if you did that on any other computer, it would poop itself. Automator works. I mean, DVD player. I bet you could play a DVD. Can we play a DVD on this? Wow! I just want to see if the DVD player works. Yeah, it's working, I guess.
It's set to speaker analog, which worked last time. Uh-oh, I think it froze. Does not appear to be running that well, but at least it ran it a little bit. Coming soon to own on 420 DVD. See how fast it all closes again. A little bit of frame drop there, but aside from iTunes being an ass and not launching. So here we have activity monitor, which is going to let us know what's going on. Right now I'm in the process of trying to find a speed test app for an old version of Mac. Okay, so data read per second, data written per second. So maybe we could see that jump up when I launch everything. So let's just launch everything again and see if that will spike for us. Because we're going to probably launch everything instantaneously, so. Alright, let's do it. Oh great! Didn't fucking do it. 16. Oh fuck, here comes Wally. Shit! Well, the DVD player seems laggy. It's sort of just stuck on this frame. Yeah, okay, we'll close everything out again. And I launched mail again, damn it. No, I don't want any, no. Okay, so yeah. So probably the best way to test speed at this point would be to just copy a bunch of files from point A to point B. So how do we figure that out though? Well, we do have Wally here. And this actually may help us. No. Let's take a gander at this video TS folder. Now I'm not talking about ripping a DVD because this is clearly not how you do it. But let's see how big it is. What the fuck? 64 gigs? What is this, a Blu Ray? What? Hold on, something's not right. Oh, wait a minute. This is a Blu Ray drive. I could put a Blu Ray disc in there. Well, this was the nearest Blu Ray in arm's reach. Let's just see if it'll read it. And no, I do not mean play it, because this will not play the Blu Ray disc. I just want to see if I can see a file system. Holy shit. There it is. So yeah, this is the file system of the Blu Ray disc. How big is this? Wait, what? Mac OS X has an icon for Blu Ray disc. Blu Ray was never supposed to be a format that Mac ever supported, and it definitely doesn't now, yet Snow Leopard already had a... There were no Blu Ray drives for Macs. What? Okay. Okay, well, so you're still wondering what the hell I'm doing. Capacity, 39.86 gigs on the Blu Ray disc. What I'm going to do is copy some of that junk onto the hard disk, onto the RAID, to sort of measure. So you're probably wondering, what am I doing? Why am I even doing this? I want to take a lot of data and copy it places around the RAID to see how fast it'll do it. So we have just 39 gigs of raw data on this Blu-ray drive. Why don't we just copy some of it? Let's see how big this is. This has the same directory structure as my camera, actually, oddly enough. Okay, so I found a random file that's 907 megabytes. It's just one of the portions of the movie. I'm going to copy it, hopefully quickly. I don't know what the actual data read speed is for Blu-ray, but I know it's probably faster than that of DVD. So it should copy pretty quickly. We're going at about, let's see, 1, 2, 10 megabytes per second read speed. I want to say that's faster than DVD. I really have no idea. Not a clue. Not a clue. I probably would be the same. I want to say it's faster because if I can do this in this many minutes, why does it take me 30 minutes to install Snow Leopard off a DVD? Yeah, I don't know. It probably is faster. I could look it up, but either way, we're just getting us some raw data that we can copy places. Now, if I was running Apple File System, which is the new Apple file system that's going to be coming out pretty soon. I don't know if it's coming out with Sierra, but apparently it has sort of a duplicate files thing where if you have a duplicate file, if you have multiple duplicate files on the same file system, it won't use up extra space. So if you have a million copies of, let's say, well, this file, it won't take up any extra space. You'll just have literally a million copies, but it'll only use up the amount of, like, the 900 megabytes that it is, and it just has a reference that, oh yeah, this file exists this many times in this many places. I really can't wait for Apple File System. I think that's going to be very fun. Okay, we're done. So we have our file in question. So now, since it's about a gigabyte, if we copy the file from point A to point B somewhere else on the drive, like let's put it in users movies, because it's a movie, it's a Truman Show. So let's copy it. That really means nothing. It was fast. I don't have anything to compare it to, but it seemed like it was fast. It was less than 5 seconds to copy about a gigabyte of data. Again, it doesn't tell us much, but I guess it seemed fast. Okay, so I found something. It's called xbench, and it's 288K. It works on macOS 10.3.9 and above, and it's apparently the only benchmark you'll ever need. Alright, so let's put that on the desktop. So right now we can do all these tests, but we don't really need to. So we'll just do the disk test on Marijuana Mac. And I don't know where the next window's going to pop open, but it seems to be running. Random. So how does that compare to our hard disk? How does that compare to our last Hackintosh attempt? With this, how does the read speed compare to this? How does the read speed compare to just one SSD? I wouldn't be able to tell you without doing another install. So how about this? We keep xbench, and we reinstall this in the computer, boot off of our Hackintosh, run the same test and see if we get these kind of scores. Scores here, just again for reference, we're probably getting up to 400 megabytes a second read, 300 megabytes a second write, 280 megabytes a second read, and 300. Why are we getting higher write speeds than read speeds? I don't understand. If this is accurate, I hope it is. Okay, so let's just go ahead and restart, shut this down, restart it with just a plain old mechanical drive to see what kind of performance improvements we're even looking at. Now again, I stress this a lot. We're not really using the RAID controller. This is a software RAID that we're currently on right now. So it's not going to be amazing. And again, the hardware RAID card, chip, whatever, really played no role in this at all. In the first, I don't know, 5 minutes of the video were pretty much pointless, but it may have some sort of effect. I'm not quite sure. They feel warm. They're definitely warm. That's actually almost hot to the touch there. Those are getting really hot in there. So if I put those in a different order, the RAID's gonna fuck up. And actually the RAID is already fucked because I'm gonna have RAID mode turned on and the RAID will just get deleted, I guess. How the fuck is that gonna work again? I don't know. I think I should probably turn RAID mode off and then pray that this works. So crap, I don't even know now. So we created a RAID, but I think we created a RAID with the RAID utility, but I think that OS 10 messed up the RAID. I'm really at a loss here. Which one of these went where? Oh crap. Okay, that's a good sign. It's booting right off of it. Again, we're not booting off of this, and we're not booting off of these. It's just going to boot right off of that. I'm going to go right back in. Boot off the mechanical drive. Oh crap. Something has gone very wrong, and I think it's because I turned RAID mode on. So let's restart it without that. Hopefully we didn't fuck up our whole installation. Oh, sweet shit. It wasn't even selected, because it couldn't even display RAID, because it couldn't do a RAID, because there were multiple drives. Oh my. Okay, let's try it again. With RAID turned off, and I've probably lost my RAID settings, so that sucks. So let's wait for it again. Gonna leave the camera running though, because we don't want to miss any magic. Oh, what? No! Don't do that! I didn't even get up yet! Just because I have the Truman Show in the Blu Ray drive, isn't it? When you're trying to boot off the Truman Show, it's not going to work. Let's see what the startup options are. As you can see, you have two options. What am I going to do with the Wally? Fuck. Shit. God damn it. It's because that drive is partitioned half and half HFS and NTFS, which is odd. Hey! Fancy that! Look, we're in! And we're in, and I know we're in, because we got Logic Express there again. Now what would be cool if I could clone this to the RAID. That'd be neat. If I could do that, then I could, and just to confirm it still works. Why did I write this? It's crap. Okay. So we're back in the old Hackintosh, and again, these are our SSDs here. So let's fire up xbench. Assuming you can read the drive. Yep. And we're doing it on Mac OS because we have medium, but it's still off the same drive. So let's see what we're doing here. 73, 74, getting much poorer scores here. 30 megabytes, 46 megabytes, 1 megabyte, 29, okay. Go on, you got two more. Just doing the random read, or it's broken because it's a failed drive. That could be the other thing. So this is also not a reliable test because the drive is failing. The only reason it stopped, there it goes. The only reason it's still working is because apparently the bad sectors are outside of the range of the Mac partition, so we should be okay. So that was a pretty abysmal. I was getting scores in the 1000s, even though this is a proprietary xbench score of 52 versus God knows what it was. I think it was 1000. So a lot better, definitely, than a mechanical drive, that's for sure. Let's do a boot up test of the RAID. I don't know if I want to do a boot up test of this because it's, I don't know how it's going to compare. The boot up, I don't have much faith in the boot up test being any faster now, even though now we have two SSDs. I do have to put this in the drive now. Let's do a quick restart. Now, some people say I should start the actual process once I see the computer actually just start, like once it starts starting up again. So I guess I could do that, or just start from the point of the Apple logo. It's not going to be It's not going to be fair because I have to do some extra button presses with the RAID because it's a software RAID. I need the bootloader on the CD to actually start it. So I'm going to start at the Apple logo when I see it. Even though that's not really fair, but it's where the bulk of the actual loading in happens. So, okay, hold on to your butt. And then there's actually a timeout period here, so we got that. So this is off of our original mechanical drive, Hackintosh. I don't remember how long this takes because I usually walk away from the computer when it happens. So it might actually be a while, to the point where my arm is going to become uncomfortable to hold. Camera can't really decide what to focus on. And are we at the desktop yet? And let's say that's about good. 39 seconds. And here we are. So now, let's go ahead and install those other drives back in and do another test. And this one gets hot too. I think it's just because it's the surface I put it on is not very friendly for laptops. I don't know which one of these went where, but I'm sure it'll figure it out. And since it's software RAID, it shouldn't need the RAID controller to be turned on now. So, just fuck it, don't even put the bottom on, we don't need it. So again, this part doesn't count. Doesn't really help for a boot time in general, like for day-to-day usage. So we were at 39 seconds before. Assuming we had a bootloader working and we knew what we were doing. So you have to press F8 for startup options. And then I believe we were selecting Marijuana Mac 1. So when I see that Apple logo, okay, so it has detected the RAID. And it sounds like it's actually accessing the CD drive, but the actual internal drive blinking is going. We have hardware RAID turned off, so clearly it's not even using that. Okay, it's faster. Okay, it's faster by 10 seconds. Just 10 seconds. At least there was a difference this time. Holy crap, 11 seconds, okay? 10 whole seconds, not down to 4 seconds where I would want it to be. No, 10 seconds faster. Now that's, of course, it's having to use the bootloader to get some information about HFS, how RAIDs work. So if we had the proper bootloader, it would be faster. And now that we're actually started up, everything should be blazing fast. Applications start pretty much instantly. I mean, that could be faster. I mean, I'm not too impatient if it only takes that long to open it. Chess, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's at a point where it doesn't happen immediately after I click, but it's fast. I didn't try to do any of this on the other hard drive. That's another thing we can test. We got 10 seconds out of it, right? 10 seconds faster. So remember our let's start up everything on the whole computer test. We were starting up everything except for the utilities folder, time machine, front row, dashboard. Automator makes something pop up, but we'll go with that anyway. And don't want mail either. So let's see how fast it takes to start up all of those. As a secondary test for sort of more of a random access, command open. And when they all stop bouncing, I think we're good. There. 10 seconds to open everything. So let's see how long it takes to close all of them now, using my technique. That took 6 seconds to close all of them. So that's the most intensive thing I could really think to do with a fresh installation of Mac OS X. So let's go ahead and rip those drives out of there again, plug our little guy back in there, and do exactly the same thing with a mechanical drive and see what it does. Okay, so here's our applications folder. Again, our SSDs are out of the machine, and we're back on the mechanical one. So these are our applications. Now you might find something a little bit different about it. We have some more stuff than we did before. We have to omit Logic Express since that was not part of the experiment before. We'll get rid of course, dashboard, front row, mail, because that pops up, and this. I believe that should be everything that needs to open. Now, one other thing we want to look at, just for consistency's sake, is the dock. It was not at the bottom, and it was not being shown, just because that's how I set it up on this. But I'm going to put it on the bottom and make it so that it shows all the time, just so you can see at a glance what's happening. And I'm going to go ahead and start it. Got a lot of bouncing going on still. Looks like the advantage of the SSD is realized. Wait, the camera works now? Oh, we just now finished. There was a little extra time. I thought we weren't done. Yeah, 10 seconds longer, roughly. Apparently the camera does work, because you know, so you can see the light up there. It says it's on, but I don't see anything, so take a picture of nothing, I guess. Didn't even put anything down here because it was black. Okay, so that works. Oh, now I closed some stuff out, so so it looks like there's a 10-second difference in pretty much everything we do. Let me open, what was it, Photo Booth again and DVD player again, just because they were running before. Okay, and Automator needs to just shut its ass up. Oh well, I didn't mean go all the way out. Okay, so now that took about 23 to 25 seconds-ish. So let's try and do it with my method to close everything out. iTunes probably never opened. Oh yeah, because I didn't do that. So that was maybe another second. Closing them out is no big deal because it's just emptying the RAM. So it's been an interesting episode. I really absolutely did not intend to do a Hackintosh RAID 0 whatsoever. But I did it, and I really don't like it. Because obviously you have to use the some sort of bootloader. I have a Mac laptop now, so I don't really need to run with Hackintosh. Although this does have a bigger screen than my Retina, and this would kind of be nice. Except, you know, all the drivers and stuff seem to make their way onto this, but not the other one for some reason. I don't really know what happened with that. I would probably have to do a clone over to the other, to the RAID, to this, to make it, or to just one SSD. That could be something for another video. Just clone this installation onto an SSD so that I have just sort of solid state Hackintosh build computer to use. I can still do this sort of a 2-drive setup, have one drive be still Windows, and then have the other drive be Mac, but have them just SSDs. So basically what I had before, except with SSDs, that would at least make it faster, but it wouldn't really improve anything, really. What I would really like to do is just turn this laptop into just a Windows 7 portable machine that I can still play some, you know, semi-modern games on. Not really. It runs Left 4 Dead at almost the highest graphics settings. So I really didn't want to put Mac on this. This is just a waste of time, but it's been kind of fun, you know, to just open stuff and watch it open. And there is a speed increase to RAID 0, not as much as I would have hoped for. Probably not getting as much speed out of this. I don't even know what the RAID controller, or I don't know what's up with the RAID control on this. I don't know what's up with the SATA control on this. We may actually be bottoming out. This may actually have only like SATA 2 in it or something, and I just don't know.
But we did get some sort of speed increase, and it is fun to actually have a software RAID 0 work with Hackintosh. I didn't think I'd ever be able to successfully do that. That if you told me that, what do you think is more possible, installing an SSD into an iPod and having it work, or doing a Hackintosh software RAID 0? I'd probably go with the former being more likely to work. For some reason, this actually worked. So, anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. This has been Jiraga1. I'll see you guys next week, and maybe I'll give that iPod another shot. See you next time.